that I coach or teach or just help, what is your expectation? Do you expect to be driving a Lambo in 6 months? No. No. Get that out of your head. That's not realistic. Took a few $1,000s and ran that thing up. I think I was in maybe at $17 or $18 and watched it day after day after day go up to like $65, $70. And you believed in this narrative. And I watched the thing go up and never set a stop loss. But you know what, Jerry? I never had a plan. You can make money on stories. It's just you can't get married to them. You can only go out on a date. That's it. You told me 18, 20 years ago that I wouldn't be crawling under a mountain 12 hours a day and doing this, man. I'd have told you you're a liar.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gerry Invest show, where today I have the honor of interviewing Michael Litton, my personal mentor in trading. And Mike, before we get started, I would like you to, I guess, sort of give the audience a little background as to, where you were before and how you transitioned into, the world of trading.
Yeah. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you taking time to and being interested in us. Makes me feel special, man. I really appreciate that.
Because you
Such a
are, man. You're the
bright
man.
young man.
Thank you.
Well, I feel I really love to help young people, man, and I'm super excited to always be involved with you and anything you do. You're so smart, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm I'm part of the Stocks with Josh community and get to live day trade over there and be a leader and a coach in that community. And that's kind of what I got going on right now. Before I started trading, Jerry, I was a blue collar worker. I worked in the coal mines, in the underground coal mines. So this was a manual labor field. I worked there for nearly 11 or 12 years, something like that. There's not a lot of opportunity here where in the area that I live in. So you're either a coal miner or a prison guard. If you some people are teachers around here, and then there's a little bit of this and that around here, but those are like the three big things in this area. So that's kind of where I started as a young man. I played when I was really young. I played music for a few years for a living, but that don't pay very many bills, Jerry. So then, as I grew up a little bit, I started into the coal mining field where you could actually make a little bit of money, and moved out of that into law enforcement for another 10 years or so. Corrections and probation and
A whole world of.
little bit of everything. Yeah, the whole world there, and did that for a while. And along the way there, in between there, I'll be honest with you, I had a friend that was starting to trade a little bit, and he got me interested in it, and that struck a nerve. That interested somehow just happenstance, just on an accident. And when I first tried and started looking into it, it just wanted to deep dive and deep dive. I just kept on digging and digging and digging until I just couldn't get enough of it. So that kind of led to where I'm at now. But that's what I did before this, before what I'm doing right now, anyways.
What I want to ask you is, when were you able to, I guess, exit? Like, for example, because at some point you were going to take risk because obviously a job provides stability for you, right? How were you able to decide on,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to leave coal mining or law enforcement, for example, and, become trading when there's, I mean, a lot of risk involved, I guess?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of risk involved, Jerry. I will say, I didn't. I think life presents opportunities, Jerry. This is what I think,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't leave. We get comfortable in. Uh, let me phrase this correctly. In where we're at in life, we get content and comfortable in a place that we feel like we have some safety, right?
Mhm.
We have a safety net, and we have insurance, and we have, we get paid every 2 weeks, and we get, these little bit of benefits and some vacation time, and, sometimes life comes along, and actually my position, was cut.
Oh,
So, I had a choice. Yeah, yeah. So, I had a choice, um, of what I could do. I had a choice. I had been trading on the side and learning for years and years. And with a little bit of urging from Josh
oh,
saying that, I think it's time. I think it's time, brother. I think it's time. He said, sometimes you have to sometimes you have to put a foot out in faith. Uh, was I ready? And I don't think I would have just chose to do it on my own. I think I had to get presented with a choice, with a road, with a path, with a crossroads in my life. And you're going to come to places like this in your life of decisions.
so
I could have pursued another job somewhere else, but this had been knocking on my door for a long time, building and building and building. So I decided it was time, and I took the risk, man, to go full time with it. And it wasn't easy. It's not an easy
Nah,
choice.
nah, yeah, I can tell, because I've tried trading and it's been a little well, paper trading, and it's been a little bad. But I guess that's
Yeah,
where the question arises as to, okay, because everyone is sold in the idea of the American dream, which I believe is true. But how can you decide on whether it's the right time to assume risk, whether it be through trading, building a business, and because I feel like everyone wants to, I guess, like, look at the end of the road but not the process. So when would you say is okay, it's the right time? I guess if you were a teenager again, what are the rules that you have to do before aiming for that dream? Maybe you had an emergency fund, for example. Maybe you had a lot of this stuff saved up. So what would you say,
yeah.
what would you say is your biggest advice for that?
I th that's a tough question, knowing how when it's time. I think, knowing when it's time, to assume in the trading business, in, I think having the confidence to know that you have a plan and a method, technicals that that you have proven to yourself you can do this. That was kind of a reassuring thing. Hey, I am profitable. I just don't do this full time, and I don't deep dive. That's where I was at the time. I was basically just using it for like a side income. I could make a little extra money on the side, and I wasn't full time, and I still had a safety net. So, I think for a young person, maybe it's not trading, maybe it's a business, maybe there there are always going to be a risk, right?
Hmm.
But without risk and without leaving your comfort zone, you never grow, and you never know. You
Yeah.
never know. Now that doesn't mean you just go out and go crazy and do something insane with no plan. I do think you have to have a plan. You have to have you need to be smart. I did have funds built up to survive. I tell you what I had, Jerry. I had enough for 3 months.
3 months, you gave
So
yourself
I
a
had
time
3
limit.
months.
Wow.
I had 3 months to make myself, to prove this to myself, and at the end of that 3 months, I was not able to do enough to at least make the bills and make do with what I could do. Um,
And
then
I know,
then I knew it wasn't time.
and I know that you're a father, but like, for example, so I'm assuming there was like a lot of opinions around this, like, oh wow, how are you gonna go into this and all of that stuff. So how did you sort of like deal
Oh,
with
yeah.
all of this,
Well,
all of these opinions?
there is, yeah, and yeah, I am a dad. I like to, I've gotten to the point in my life, and you come to this point in your life, the older that you get, that um, you have to believe in yourself.
Mhm.
And doesn't matter if those close to you or who you hold in great esteem don't believe in you enough, or if you can't believe in yourself. And I've had some great friends through this. One of my music friends that I play music with, Jordan Allen. We had a big talk, and he just reassured me. He said, this is a big step, man, but you know, no growth happens and nothing special happens until you take a risk of the unknown that you don't know. You
Yeah.
don't know if you're starting a business, you don't know that it's gonna work. You can have your ducks in a row and you can have all the best plans in the world, but at the end of the day, you don't know, but you don't know if you never try either. So you have to go any kind of new thing that you go into, you have to have a plan, and you need a backup plan. It's okay to have a backup plan. You can't just go blindly into something, but there is a level of risk that you have to take. There's a level of risk, with every trade that you take. If you're day trading or or swing trading, there's a level of risk on that. But meeting risk with common sense.
Yeah.
You have to have a little common sense with any risk that you take, man. And I'm not going to go out and abandon my kid and not be able to put food on the table. If I've got to suck it up and work somewheres for a while, then that's what I would have done it. I would have went back into the coal mines if I had to, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. I knew there was something. I felt in my heart there was something bigger for me, and
Now
I honestly needed a couple of good friends to sort of reassure me a little bit. Hey, it's time to try something. Time to try.
Now, for example, now moving on, I guess more into a trading view. Um, what would you suggest for a teenager? Say that he's like already 18 years old, because that's the age that you can legally trade. What would you suggest? How do we start? Because for example, I think the thing about trading is that a lot of teenagers see Lamborghinis, and it looks very flashy. It looks like a flashy lifestyle. Um, and the
Yeah,
reality is, for
yeah,
example, for me, what helped me out was my dad, because he helped me tell he always told me, look at the ones that look the most boring, and not necessarily boring, but
yeah,
less editing, that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And that's how I stumbled across a couple of people, which then led me to you. But how would you
yeah.
suggest we navigate this whole world of trading, this whole world of content creation? And of course, it all starts by subscribing to Money Mike. But what other ways would you suggest?
Yeah, Jerry, I think for for a young man or woman that is starting to enter into the world of trading or investing,
Mhm.
one, like you said, be careful what you buy into, as far as what sort of dream and what you what you have in your mind. I talked to somebody else earlier. I talk to people every day that I coach or teach or just help. What is your expectation?
Mhm.
So, do you expect to be driving a Lambo in 6 months? No. No, get that out of your head. Do you expect to, that you're gonna go buy a $2 million home 3 months down the line because now you started trading? No, that's not how it is. So, I've come to find this out in my life in any profession, um, especially, let's, say a trade or something, someone that's a welder or an electrician. It takes 5 years to become proficient and an expert, or maybe not an expert, but at least very proficient in your trade and what you do. So, people entering into this should, one, know that this takes time, and you have to build a foundation. You have to build a foundation of learning technicals and fundamentals and knowing, frankly, Jerry, you're so well read on the market already. It blows my mind, man. But you need to spend time learning how companies make money and what these companies do, and spending a little bit of time deep diving stocks in the stock market, not just chasing a fairy tale that you can trade and become a millionaire in no time,
So
because it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not realistic.
so what would you
There's
say
all
is
kinds of
a
influencers out there that put that out there.
What would you say is a realistic, I guess, not necessarily pathway, because I know everyone is different in the way that they learn, but I guess sort of the realistic lifestyle, and because you've experienced this, of a person that wants to learn trading. Because I mean, I'm assuming that at the beginning you have to do paper trading and all of that stuff, but once you've actually
Yes.
reached a strategy that works for you, how does the lifestyle look like? And not necessarily, I guess, also financially, but also like your personal life. How does it affect you in every way?
Well, this is the first time, as far as where I'm at now, like my success with it now, or is that what you're talking about? So
Mhm,
you can get to where you can get to where you would expect in any job. So, just around here where I live, Jerry, someone that makes 50K a year, that's a decent earning around here.
mhm,
Now, going out away from here, I'm in a very poor community. So, 70, 80, 90K, that's a pretty decent living anywhere you go, I imagine. Um, you can get to that in trading. You can get to that in trading. You can get to that. That still takes time. I think for a young person that's just starting, they need to first start learning about investing long term and start building wealth rather than actively trading all the time.
mhm.
The active trading should come through paper trading, with just simulation to prove to yourself. You really shouldn't be trading with real money until you understand your tools, you understand the brokerage that you choose, how to place your orders, how to get in and out in a good amount of time, and that you're not losing money paper trading, that you're not at least making things break even while you're paper trading, while you're learning. While you're learning, I think it's so important to start setting aside. So if you're working a 40-hour a week job, you should be setting aside 10% every week, every single week, that goes into long-term investing and building that and watching it grow. So I think when you watch your investments grow for 3 years, 5 years while you're learning how to trade, it gives you a sense of how important it is to have a foundation. Trading versus investing are 2 different things.
Yeah, I've always thought, and I know I learned this, from you, and because once I learned trading, I kind of learned to distinguish that trading is sort of like a job in the sense that it's income. It provides income for you, but long-term
That's
investment
right.
is a long-term wealth.
It's wealth. It's
It's wealth.
wealth, man. Yeah.
It's the wealth that you
That
they
that that is how you yeah, that's how you can build your wealth for, the next 30 years of your life, or 40 years. And I look back to when when I was in high school, when I was your age, Jerry, Apple, you could buy shares of Apple back then for, I wanna say under $1.
Oh my god.
So, had somebody to, and this is, I'm sure they've had, stock split after stock split over the last 25, 30 years. So, back then, I could have been buying $20 a week of Apple shares,
No.
and I just think about that now. Where would I be now? What would I have now if someone had just told me to invest, or just invest into the S&P 500, just a broad ETF every week, a steady amount, and watch it grow. It compounds so much over time. Time in the market always beats trying to time the market, trying to say, here's the top, here's the bottom. If you spend time in the market investing, there's better times to invest than others, but a little bit of technical analysis
To help
analysis
you out.
will show you how to long term. And yeah, yeah, don't need much. You don't need much to invest. You pick a few good companies and you average into them.
And not entering obviously a lesson here, because we could do that. And for anyone that's interested, that's in the Money Mike channel, which I'll link it in the description down below.
Yeah.
But I know that you didn't do this while you were in college. So I know stuff changes and everything like that. But for example, someone that's entering college and maybe even high school if they're paper trading, how would you say that you should define whether you should do, for example, because there's different types of trading, I guess,
Mhm.
strategies where there's a swing trading, which are
Yep.
more long-term trades, day trading, which is
Yep.
between the day. And how would you say that you should start off, for example, once you've obviously defined, then you've
I
learned what
think
long-term investing is?
Yeah, I think you should, inside of a paper trading account, it's a really good idea to start learning how to swing trade, and then you can work into more day trading techniques like that. But just learning how to properly swing trade something and not be pressed on, I got to get in and I got to get out in 30 seconds or 5 minutes. Then I think that's a good place to start being active, rather than that's taking a step ahead, or a step further than just buying $100 a week of the S&P and letting it go. Actually actively learning when things are on their lows, when it's okay to start averaging in, and when it's okay to ride a trend, and when it's okay to get out of a stock. There's sometimes, if you're swing trading, you don't stay in stocks. Um, I think swing trading is a great place for people to start, man. Especially they're going into college, they've got classes going on, they're busy. It's a good idea. They can watch something and a couple times a day on their phone. Back in the day, man, you had to call a broker up and have them place an order for you. This is before I knew anything, but technology's came so far, man. Everything's right. It's at the palm of your hand. You
Yeah.
can check your investments on your phone all day long. I don't like trading from a phone, but you can, at least you can swing trade a little bit from your phone. You can check. You're not tied to it all day long like a day trader is. So yeah, it's
Now,
a good place to start, man. Swing trade, great
now,
place to
guys, the
start.
reason that Mike doesn't like using his phone, I've seen his strategy, and he literally it literally enters buy, and he enters and sells it immediately, like 2 seconds later. Like it's like he always calls them the quick pops, the quick pops. It's the buy and sell. Like it's crazy. Like I'm like,
Um, I,
how does he see this? Like what?
I
I remember.
It's fast sometimes, isn't it, buddy? It is fast.
Yeah. How would you
It'll
say?
humble you, won't it, Jerry? Mhm.
That's what I wanted to ask you. For example, was there a
Yeah.
specific trade that you can recall that changed how you assess risk? Like one specific trade that you might remember, like maybe you lost so much, or maybe you didn't put a stop loss, and you were like, okay, from here I need to
Yeah,
start assessing risk.
absolutely, absolutely. AMC.
AMC. What about it?
AMC, yeah. This was the big trade. It was a tied to the GameStop trade. Do you know anything about GameStop and the AMC squeeze 4 or 5 years
I
ago?
know
Did
that it
you
was
read
a meme
anything?
stock, specifically GameStop, and also AMC, from what I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
AMC got tied into it and was pretty much the same, play along with GameStop, and, uh, I hadn't been in the game too long, maybe a year or 2 or something, and I was still I still didn't know anything, never had anybody show me anything, so I was still trying to figure things out on my own. So, I watched that. I had, a large to me at the time. I took a few $1,000s and ran that thing up all the way toward, like, from, I think I was in maybe at 17 or $18 and watched it day after day after day go up to like 65, $70. So this was huge to me.
Yeah.
And I found myself this is what new traders go through often, unfortunately. So don't do this if you're a new trader. I tied in. I got you got hooked into a community, and you believed in this narrative, right?
Mhm.
So getting involved in things like that, you're not buying the stock because it's quality. You're just buying a story. So if you buy stories, you can make money on stories. It's just you can't get married to them. You can only you can only go out on a date. And that's it.
Buy the
So
rumors, sell the
I
news.
watched that thing go. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I watched the thing go up and never set a stop loss. But you know what, Jerry? I never had a plan. I never had a trade plan.
Yeah.
So when you're trading, just like if you're running a business, man, if you don't have if you got the clientele coming in every day to your new business and you're popping off great numbers and you're, whatever, maybe you sell a product, maybe your product's doing amazing, but uh you don't know how to handle the back end of that, how to get it to the bank and how to bring that back into your business, then you're only getting half the picture. If you know
Yeah.
so I was tied into a story, and the story was this thing was going to squeeze, all the way up to $1,000 a share, and blah blah blah. So
Let's say
it's
that
very
$3.
important for new trade. So I watched it come all the way back, and at the end of the whole thing, over the course of I don't know several weeks, maybe months, I can't remember now. Uh, you watch that thing just skyrocket and come back to the point where I said, I I'm getting out. I've learned a lesson here. I have learned a lesson. I watched all that investment go up. I never took a profit, and I watched it come all the way back down thinking this is going to keep going. It's going to keep going. No, I missed it. I missed that opportunity, and I sold, and I barely made any money. I got out just before break even, and I thought, what have I done? I've watched all these money go up and never had a plan. This is, something that Josh has taught me over years. You got to have an exit plan. If you got an entrance plan, you got to have an exit plan. You got to have a plan. So that's true with business, brother. That's true with trading. If your plan is to buy the S&P 500 for 20 years, then that's fine. But you
Mhm.
also should think about when year 19 and year 20 comes, what you're going to do, what's your next move. You always need to know your next move, and what you always have to have a plan with when you're trading. Getting in, getting out is just as important as where to get in. So it's
Because there's 2
you
ways of
gotta
getting
you,
out.
you gotta have.
There's 2 ways, at a loss and in a
Mhm.
win. So, your take profit and
Yeah, that's
stop
right.
profit.
That's right.
Okay, now Mike, I know that you've transitioned through various fields, starting from mining to law enforcement, trading, and now you've built a personal brand, through content creation, and you've even become a crown trader for a community, the Stocks with Josh community.
Yeah.
And how would you say this transition has been, and how would you say you would like? I guess it's two separate questions, like your transition between all of these fields into, I guess, publishing content, and then the second one
Mhm.
being, what would you give? Like, how would you advise a teenager that has a skill set that wants to teach to other people?
Well, you know, uh, transitioning from from what I used to do. So the last thing I did, I spent about 4 or 5 years with being a probation officer. So constantly dealing with people, man, dealing with people, dealing with people. So I love having good people skills, and I love being good to people. I love to play into my own strengths, Jerry. So I've always uh, prided myself on being good to people and treating people right, man. So going from being a 40-hour a week blue collar worker to coaching, there was a lot of things I carried over. So, I don't regret the jobs that I did before.
Hmm.
They built me and made me who I am. You know, they kind of helped create the person that I am, and I over the years learned how to treat I was mates and convicts every day,
Yeah.
but I always treated them good. I always treated them with respect because they deserve that. They're, everybody's a person. Why should I be rude to anybody? So, you know, nothing anybody does matters to me. I'm still going to treat them with respect. So that's something that I brought into coaching and working with people and content creation. I've always just treated people right, man, and I think that resonates. I think that resonates with people. The transition was difficult in some ways because it's a new thing, but in other ways, you as a young person maybe going into content creation, you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. You know, you have to get out of your comfort zone, and sometimes you're gonna get yourself talking just to yourself on a recording and putting out YouTube videos. So yeah, you know, it's gonna test you in new ways. You have to push yourself out of your comfort zones, but always play to your strength. Are you a good people person? Are you good with you know with working audio video? What are you good at? Make what you're good at work for you because you're going to enjoy it. I love audio and video, so this a lot of it come natural to me um, doing content creation. So play to your strengths, but don't be afraid to push yourself beyond what you're used to, what you're
I,
comfortable with.
I remember one of your first videos where you would just start recording and am I recording? And I was like, man, maybe he's like, he's but it's experimenting. It's a process. I guess it's a
It
phase that
is.
everyone has to go through, right?
Yeah,
And
man.
and the thumbnails, the evolution of your thumbnails has been
Oh, yeah.
I hope on the screen I could put some, but the evolution of Mike's thumbnails has been immense. Like it's just crazy how the evolution
Yeah.
and also the subscriber
Yeah.
count. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm I'm glad that you reached that success. You definitely deserve it. And what I want
Thank you.
to, I guess, to wrap all of this up, what
Yeah.
I mean through all of this experience, and I guess this whole talk, what is one piece of advice? And I know it's difficult because there's a lot, but that you would give to a teenager right now that wants to start
Yeah.
something, any fields, and yeah.
I think one piece of advice I would say to believe in yourself and not be afraid to take a chance.
Hmm.
Not be afraid to just sit in your comfort zone. You know,
Yeah.
don't just sit in your comfort zone. Push yourself because if you've got a dream of doing something and you have something you love to do, man, you get one life.
Yeah.
You get one life. So chase it. Don't let nobody stop you from pursuing what you want to pursue. You told me 18, 20 years ago that I wouldn't be crawling under a mountain 12 hours a day and doing this, man. I'd have told you you're a liar. There's no way I would be doing this.
Did you not
So
put
it's
yourself in this
I
place?
didn't, man. I didn't believe in myself, man. I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't. I just got content working my hours, working my putting my shift in, and there's a comfort in that, man, and there is also nothing wrong with that if that's what you like to do, and if you're happy doing that, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've always considered myself a little bit of a dreamer, Jerry. I'm a little bit of a dreamer, buddy. So I've always chased music, and when I got the bug for this, really, I've just never gave up, man. I've never stopped. Never stopped. I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah. Well,
I
that's
love
wonderful.
it. Yeah.
So thank you. It's been a pleasure having you. I hope
Thank you, my
um,
friend.
for the youth, this can educate all of y'all, and I hope that you've had something. I guess I hope you can apply what Mike has done into your life through various, I guess his philosophy. So the Mike philosophy.
Yeah.
But yes, Mike, it's been a pleasure, and thank you all. Bye.
Thanks, my friend.